Hello cuties! This is an interesting chat, so let's get into it. This is something that I have not addressed on any of my platforms really. One time I made one small hint about it on Instagram. People were like, what? And then I never went into more detail. And I've thought about trying to figure out how to address this on Instagram and TikTok, but I don't know. I get nervous about how to address it. I don't want people to think I'm coming for them, because let me tell you, this is just personal experience. I'm not judging you. I am not judging you. You know, like, and the thing is with YouTube, you clicked on this video. You want to know what I'm talking about, clearly. But with Instagram and TikTok, like, that video could just pop up on your For You page and you could just be like, oh my god, this girl is calling me out. Like, I love smoking and she's judging me. And then they're gonna comment and be like, well, it's because you don't, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'll address it on there at some point, but let's just get into it on here because I feel comfortable here. Obviously, I'm just giving you my personal experience with weed. This has nothing to do with you. Just sit back and listen to my story, and if it relates to you and inspires you, then great. And if you disagree, that's also fine, because it has nothing to do with your life. This is my life. So here we go. Faith, yes, I know, was a stoner girl for like a whole year of smoking every single day. And people find that very shocking, and I understand why, because I am this little Christian female that works out a lot and doesn't really swear. But yes, Faith was a stoner at one point in her life, so let's chat about it. And why I stopped, because I am now coming up to 2 years sober, completely. Have not touched it. Have not touched it at all in 2 years. Not edible, not a hit, nothing, nada. Completely gone after every single day. So let's see. Why did I feel like I had a problem to begin with? Like, why did I want to quit? Like, what spurred me to be like, you know, I want this out of my life? Well, I was a stoner girl my second year of college. I would say that was when it was, and that was when I like moved officially, like 16 hours away from my family and everything. So I was down in the south by myself, and I didn't know anyone there. And yeah, so I started though before I left, because everyone in Chicago smokes, like, especially in my close circle, like family, friends, work, co-workers, every single person smoked. Like, it's just so normal. And I think that year it became legal. Excuse me, clock. I am trying to tell a story. Sheesh. And so it was just super common. Like, it wasn't like hard to get your hands on. It wasn't even like illegal technically at that point. So it was like, it's a very common thing. Like, people, like, like in Alabama, I feel like it was a bit more, it was illegal there, so it was hard to get your hands on it, so it wasn't as common. But in Chicago, it's like every person smokes type of a thing. So, and people, you know, use it for different purposes, but just like recreationally, even like the person I was dating at the time, like, he would do it a lot. So when people very close to you do it, it's like, okay, you go to work, you smoke there. It's like, okay, you get off work, you smoke. It's like, oh, you're with your family and like your sibling or something, they smoke, and then you go with them. Or it's like your close friends, they want to get together, and it's like, oh, what do? You're gonna smoke, because it's like, what else do you do? Like, you get into the routine of that, I think, and that's very easy to get into the routine of. And so that is the routine that I was in. And then I left for college, and then when I was there, I was so isolated and I was so alone, and I didn't know anyone. I was so bored, so I just ended up just smoking by myself basically every day, which is not fun, but to me it was, because I was like, what else am I gonna do? It was like quarantine too at that time, so there wasn't like much going on, so I was kind of just like doing like classes and then like not much else. Like, I would work out, go to class, and then smoke, like whatever. And so now I'm going to talk about the problems I was running into, I guess, which I didn't realize at the time. Like I thought I was fine, you know, like I was like, no, like it's like whatever. But now looking back on it, the things that I didn't like about that is because you would like look forward to like that high. So then like during the day you're kind of just like doing your stuff, getting your stuff done, whatever, getting your tasks done, and then it was like you got to like relax and like have that high. And I did gain a bit of weight because I was eating a lot then at night. But I was still like getting everything done. But the thing is that you're kind of putting a cap on what you can get done, because you then are like cutting off like a good bit of brain power that you could have been using at night to like pursue other things. So I was just really on autopilot, I felt like, and I wasn't really making much out of my life other than what I was being forced to do, which that is a whole different conversation, because I did completely hate college, and I hated that I was on autopilot, and I hated that I had my decisions made for me, and I hated that I wasn't creating the life that I wanted to create. But again, that we could talk about that in a different discussion. Let's just talk about this as a big stepping stone and me figuring out what I really wanted to do in life and just like make the most out of life. And cutting out weed was a big part of that. So the reason why I actually ended up quitting officially was actually because I went through a heartbreak, and actually I was like sad, and I didn't want to, when I would smoke or something, like it made me more sad. So then I kind of like, it forced me to quit. But since then, this is what I've noticed that has just been so amazing. First off, your brain works so much better. It works so much better, and I love my brain so much. I never am tempted to even put it into my body again, because I don't want to quiet my brain ever again. Like, your brain is such a magical, creative place, and people, especially artists and stuff, they'll be like, oh, like I smoke because it makes me more creative. No, you are so much more creative when your brain is on top of things. It's just because you never forced yourself to like try to be creative, you know, like sober. Like you kind of just got into that routine of smoking and then sitting down and doing something artistic. But truly, if you actually just completely cut out and you're just sober all the time, your creativity is just going crazy all the time, and it's thinking in so many different ways, and it's so cool. For me especially, and I've talked to so many people about this and they say the same thing, but again, I'm not projecting onto you. This is just my personal experience. My brain works really, really well when it doesn't have any crap covering it up and numbing anything. And so first off, my creativity has been amazing. My productivity has been amazing these past 2 years. I have taken complete control of my life. Like, I'm doing exactly what I would be doing, and I feel like I'm always in line with my purpose, because I'm very in tune with myself. I'm very in tune with my thoughts. I'm very in tune with God, and those things get clouded when you are clouding it with substances. And so that's a big plus, and I'm just so much happier all the time, because you don't hit the lows, you know, you're just always happy then, because your body is producing those dopamine levels and stuff naturally, and you're not like waiting for a high. And I'm not gonna lie, there's been stressful times that I have been tempted to smoke again, because it does relieve your stress and it just allows you to like kind of like forget reality. But then you wake up in the morning and you're back to a low. It's just not worth it, you know, like that. You only have so much life on this earth. You only have so much time. Like, I want to enjoy every single moment, and if there's a bad moment, there's a stressful moment, I need to figure it out, you know, and I need to sit with that, and I can't just check out of reality. So I've noticed that also, like, obviously eating and everything is good. So that's like the benefits. Like, I feel like my life is 100 times better, not ever touching it and not ever distracting my brain or anything like that. And I'm just so much happier. So if, you know, you are struggling with, you know, getting into that flow right now of smoking even once a week, it affects your brain so much, especially once a week, because then it's like, oh, like on the weekend, like I look forward to that one time a week, and then you kind of like throw off your week, to be honest. Like, think if you had that day too and you weren't like looking forward to that smoke session. Think if you like we're actually like, oh wow, I actually have 6 hours now this night completely free. I could go, you know, learn this new skill, or I could go do this. Like, there's so much more you could do with your life, which is so crazy. Now let's talk about the things that helped me quit, because it was difficult. I'm not gonna say it's not hard. Like, it is hard to quit, especially if you do it every single day. Like, you're gonna feel repercussions of that. Like, it's not easy. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, you know, like, it's easy. First off, cut cold turkey. Do not go once a week. Again, like I said, it doesn't really change much. Like, you still have that high that you're looking for. Even though you're doing it less, you're still feeding it, and then it just prolongs the journey. Just cut it out cold turkey. It's gonna suck. I'm telling you right now, you're gonna hate it. It's gonna be so painful. But like, that's why I'm telling you that. Like, prepare yourself. It's gonna be hard. If you think it's gonna be easy, then yeah, you're gonna have to just keep putting up with the life that you're putting up with. But if you want to like actually create such a better routine for your life, yeah, it's like you're gonna have to put in hard work. Like, if it was easy, everyone would do it, you know? So cut out cold turkey. Now, things that helped me when I did quit. First off, stop hanging out with the people that are smoking, because number one, like, I don't care how much you love them. I don't care if it is your brother. Like, just stop hanging out with them for that amount of time. You have to go find some new friends, or just be alone and grind, because it's too hard. It's period. If you do go out or anything, sip on something. If you're, you know, above 21, have a drink. That's fine. I know usually smokers, they get in the habit of smoking over drinks. Honestly, drinks, they don't affect your mind the way that smoking does. It's not long lasting. Just sip on a cocktail, whatever. Sip on a seltzer. Who cares? It wears off in a second. It barely does anything to your brain the way that weed does. And yeah, so that's what I did. If I went out with friends, I would just have a seltzer. And then I had a hard time with appetite, so I started to track my calories again then. So I was just making sure that I was eating enough protein in the day. And I actually ate really bland foods just to like get in the protein, because you're not going to enjoy it anyways. Or I would eat a lot of sugar, actually, because then that would kind of like feed the dopamine levels. And even though that's bad in itself, it was better than weed. You know, it was only for like maybe 2 weeks that I was kind of doing those things. I slammed caffeine, loved caffeine. Coffee, energy drinks, Diet Coke, like whatever I could to just like, you know, do it, whatever. You'll get over it. And then I also had a hard time with sleeping. That was probably the worst. First off, I couldn't sleep, so I would take melatonin. That still didn't really help. So it was really just like 3 or 4 days of just like no sleep. So you kind of just get over that, suck it up. And then I had crazy dreams for like a month. That was intense. If I could never go through that again, that would be great. So I'm going to keep avoiding that, because that was a lot. Very realistic dreams. I would wake up sweating. Yeah, nothing really helped that. I did start taking ashwagandha. I think that helped mellow me out. I would recommend that. And then also just feeling low and lethargic a lot. Like I said, like, you're gonna feel low because you're used to getting that high from something that isn't yourself. So then I started learning how to be happy on my own. So I would like go outside a lot, and I started just really busying myself. So I would pick up extra shifts. I would work a lot. I would do extra homework. I would get all my homework done. I would study for more tests. I would go to the library and learn a new skill. I started learning editing during that time. Like, I started listening to a lot of podcasts. Like, I just tried to distract myself as much as I could. And then find some friends that don't smoke and hang out with them. Just keep yourself busy, keep yourself distracted. I would go to church, and I really look forward to that. I would put on worship music. I really look forward to that. There's other ways you can get your dopamine fixes, but you just have to kind of rewire your brain to do it. And anyone can do it. It's just a bit difficult. You have to be intentional with it. So I hope that like motivates you to know that like it is hard, but like it's normal, you know? And also it's normal feeling like you maybe do want to quit smoking, because like it could better your mental health so much, because you're just like using it as a crutch without even realizing it, you know? And I've honestly never met someone that like smoked every single day and then cut it out cold turkey and then like didn't see a benefit from cutting it out. You know what I mean? Like, almost everyone will tell you that it increased their productivity in their life like times 100. I think it's such a waste of time And I'm really happy that I haven't done it in 2 years. So even, and like there's so many times that's offered to me. Like it's not like it's not accessible, you know, but I have no desire because I know how amazing life is without it. And I still have drinks and stuff, like that's fine, like whatever, because it doesn't like alter your brain the way that like weed, like you smoke it 1 day a week and it affects you the whole week. Having one drink, like it wears off after an hour, you know what I mean? Like that's a big difference, and your time and mind power is valuable, so don't like cut your worth like in half. Like you're valuable and your brain is capable of a lot if you let it be. Okay, I think that is all. If you have any questions, like let me know, comment it down below. Again, this is my personal experience. If you love it so much, which I was the same way. Let me also say that when I was a stoner, I would defend the crap out of it, obviously, because I liked it. I was like, oh my gosh, yay. Like, I think it's so healthy. I think it's okay to have balance. I think that you can be so creative on it. I think that it helps me sleep. I think yada yada. You can't say anything in this conversation if you haven't tried to cut it out for at least a year, because you have nothing to compare it to. So like I was saying that because I was doing it every day and that's what I liked, so obviously I was going to defend it. So you're only allowed to comment if you've tried cutting it out for an entire year and going completely sober for an entire year, because I bet you that you'll be proud of how amazing your brain is and how happy you are when you understand being completely sober from it. So that's just what I have to say. But if you have cut it out for a year and you have been sober and you still now smoke every day, then you can have a comment, and I'm curious on your take on it. But it's not going to affect my life because our lives are different, and this is just what works best for my brain and my life, and I'm very happy. So I hope this helps you and equips you with the knowledge if you are thinking about for 2025 to maybe create some new habits and just better your life. So I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.